10% of men over 70 still have the sexual performance of a 30-year-old. That's not a guess, that's from clinical research. And when I first saw that number, I had to ask the obvious question. What are those men doing that the other 90% are not? Because it's not genetics, it's not luck, and it's definitely not medication. I've spent 14 years studying male sexual health, and what I found is that these men share one specific habit that keeps a critical system in their body active, a system that goes dormant in most men after 50. The worst part is that this system is shockingly easy to reactivate, but almost no one talks about it because there's no money in it, no pill to sell, no procedure to book. I'm going to show you exactly what this system is, how to wake it up starting tonight, and there's one thing these top-performing men never do that almost every other man does every single day. I'll reveal that at the end. And honestly, it might be the most important part of this entire video. I'm Dr. Isabella, board-certified urologist with over 14 years of experience helping men restore their vitality, their intimacy, and their confidence. Not through dangerous medications or painful procedures, but through simple, evidence-based, natural methods. And what I'm about to share with you today is something I wish every man over 50 knew, because it would change everything. Before we get into this, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me your age and where you're watching from. I see men from over 50 countries tuning into this channel, and knowing who's watching helps me create better content for you. Hit that like button and subscribe for more men's health strategies. Stay with me for the next 9 minutes. What you're about to learn could be the difference between declining and thriving for the rest of your life. Let me paint a picture you've probably lived through. You're in your 50s or 60s, and things start changing. Erections that used to happen automatically now require effort. Hardness that used to last as long as you needed it fades in minutes. Morning erections that were once a daily guarantee become rare. And the worst part isn't the physical change. It's the story you start telling yourself. You start thinking this is just what happens when you get older. You start believing your body is shutting down. You start pulling away from intimacy because the fear of failure is worse than the loneliness of avoidance. Does that sound familiar? Have you caught yourself avoiding intimacy because you're not sure your body will cooperate? Have you noticed that even when you do get hard, you lose confidence the moment you start worrying about staying hard? If any of that resonates, I need you to hear this clearly. Your body is not broken. What's happening to you is not permanent decline. It's a reversible shutdown of a system that can be turned back on. The men in that top 10% didn't avoid aging. They just never let this system go dormant. And I'm going to show you how to reactivate it no matter how long it's been off. Here's the science behind what separates that 10% from everyone else. It comes down to something called your nitric oxide pathway. Nitric oxide is a molecule your body produces naturally, and it is the single most important chemical involved in getting and maintaining an erection. Think of nitric oxide as your body's internal traffic controller. When everything is working correctly, nitric oxide signals the smooth muscle inside your blood vessels to relax. When those muscles relax, the vessels widen, and blood floods into your penis. That's what creates hardness. Now here's the problem. After age 40, your body's natural production of nitric oxide begins to decline. By 60, most men are producing roughly half the nitric oxide they made at 30. By 70, some men produce so little that their blood vessels can barely dilate at all. It's like trying to water a garden with a hose that's been kinked in 3 places. The water pressure is there, the faucet is on, but nothing is getting through. A landmark 2018 study published in the International Journal of Impedance Research found that men with higher baseline nitric oxide levels were 3 times more likely to maintain strong erectile function past 70 than men with depleted levels. 3 times more likely. And here's the critical insight, that 10% of high-performing men over 70 didn't have special genetics. They had habits that kept their nitric oxide production elevated. Their traffic controller never went off duty. But there's a common mistake most men make when they try to boost nitric oxide that actually backfires. I'll explain exactly what that is after I show you the technique, so don't go anywhere. Here's exactly what those top-performing men do. Follow these steps carefully. Step 1. Start with deep diaphragmatic breathing. Sit or lie down comfortably. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 5 counts, letting your belly rise while your chest stays still. Exhale through your mouth for 7 counts. Do this for 2 minutes. This isn't just relaxation. Nasal breathing specifically triggers nitric oxide production in your sinuses. Your paranasal sinuses are one of the largest nitric oxide production sites in your body, and most men breathe through their mouths, completely bypassing this system. Step 2. While continuing the nasal breathing, begin a pelvic floor engagement. Squeeze the muscles you would use to stop urine midstream. Hold for 5 seconds, then release for 5 seconds. Do 10 repetitions. This activates the ischiocavernosus and bulbocavernosus muscles, which are responsible for compressing the veins at the base of your penis and trapping blood inside. Step 3. After your pelvic floor set, transition to leg elevation. Lie on your back and raise your legs straight up against a wall or headboard. Keep them elevated for 3 minutes while continuing your nasal breathing. This position uses gravity to increase venous return and boost circulation to your pelvic region. You should feel warmth spreading through your lower abdomen and groin. Step 4. While your legs are elevated, perform 10 more pelvic floor squeezes. 5-second hold, 5-second release. The combination of gravity-assisted blood flow and active muscle engagement creates what researchers call a vascular training effect. You're teaching your blood vessels to dilate more efficiently. Step 5. Finish with a cold stimulus. Run cold water over your inner wrists and the back of your neck for 30 seconds. This triggers a vasodilation rebound, where your blood vessels constrict from the cold and then dilate wider than before when you warm up. It's like stretching a rubber band. The further you pull it back, the more forcefully it snaps forward. Step 6. Throughout the entire routine, maintain slow nasal breathing. Inhale for 5, exhale for 7. Never hold your breath. Within the first session, you should notice tingling at the base of your penis and warmth spreading through your pelvic floor. That's your nitric oxide pathway waking up. The entire routine takes 7 minutes. Do it every morning and every evening. Quick safety note. If you have severe circulation issues, uncontrolled blood pressure, or a recent cardiac event, check with your doctor before starting the cold stimulus portion. The breathing and pelvic floor exercises are safe for virtually all men. Now let me show you the 3 mistakes that sabotage this technique for most men. Mistake number 1, breathing through your mouth during the exercises. This completely bypasses your sinuses, which are responsible for a significant portion of your nitric oxide production. Nasal breathing isn't optional. It's the engine that drives this entire protocol. If you're mouth breathing, you're leaving the most powerful part of this technique on the table. Mistake number 2, doing this only when you're about to be intimate. This is not a quick fix. This is a daily practice that rebuilds a depleted system. The men in that top 10% do this every single day, whether or not intimacy is on the schedule. Consistency is what keeps the pathway active. Mistake number 3, and this is the critical one I promised at the beginning. The habit that almost every man over 50 has that the top 10% completely avoid, it's sitting for prolonged periods without any pelvic activation. The average man over 60 sits for 8 to 10 hours a day. Prolonged sitting compresses the blood vessels and nerves that supply your penis. It weakens your pelvic floor. It reduces nitric oxide production. Those high-performing men move throughout the day and engage their pelvic floor regularly, even just brief contractions every hour. The fix is simple. Every hour you're sitting, do 5 pelvic floor squeezes. 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off. It takes less than a minute, nobody knows you're doing it, and it keeps your nitric oxide pathway from shutting down. I worked with a man named Harold, a 74-year-old retired teacher who told me, "Dr. Isabella, I haven't been able to maintain an erection long enough for intimacy in over 6 years. My wife has been incredibly patient, but I can see the distance growing between us and it breaks my heart." I taught him this exact protocol. He was skeptical but committed to doing it twice a day. 3 weeks later, he called me and said, "Dr. Isabella, I feel like someone turned the lights back on. My wife and I were intimate for the first time in over a year, and I didn't lose my erection once. I actually cried afterward." The difference was that Harold stopped trying to force his body to perform and instead restored the system that makes performance possible. Here's what your timeline looks like. During days 1 through 3, focus on learning the breathing pattern and getting the pelvic floor engagement right. You'll feel tingling and awareness. That's your body responding to activation it hasn't received in years. By days 4 through 7, you'll notice warmth, partial firmness returning, and possibly morning erections. That's nitric oxide production beginning to normalize. By week 2, morning erections become more consistent and more firm. Responses during intimacy improve. You'll find yourself maintaining hardness longer without that anxious spiral of worrying about losing it. By week 3 to 4, most men report what feels like a genuine restoration. Firmness, duration, and confidence all return together. But remember, 1 week won't undo years of dormancy. Your blood vessels and muscles need consistent daily activation for at least 21 days before you judge the results. Here's your challenge. Commit to this protocol twice a day for 21 days, 7 minutes each session. That's 14 minutes a day to potentially reclaim something you thought was gone forever. Day 1 through 3, master the breathing and positioning. Day 4 through 7, observe the changes. Day 8 through 21, watch your body come alive again. If this opened your eyes today, hit that like button so more men can find this. Drop a comment with 2 words, "I'm starting." I read every single comment and I want to see who's joining this challenge. Subscribe for more men's health strategies and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Most men suffer in silence and they don't have to. I'm Dr. Isabella. Your vitality isn't gone. It's waiting to be restored. Take care of yourself and I'll see you in the next one.